Skrutyam naram chaiva narottamam. Hare Krishna, Dandat Pranam. Now we start today's Bhagavatam class. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrutyam Naram Chaiva Narottamam. Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tata Jayam Udiret. Nashtaprayashu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Naistiki. Hare Krishna, Dandat Pranam. Today we start Srimad Bhagwatam, Canto 11, Chapter 18, description of the Vanaprastha Dharma, from Shloka number 1 to 12. Are you hearing?
Yes, Mataji.
Sri Bhagavan Uvacha Vanam Vivikshu Putreshu Bharyam Nissaha Evava Vane Eva Seta Shanta Trutiyam Bhagam Ayusha Kandamulapalai Vane Medai Vrittim Prakalpet Vasita Valkalam Vasa Truna Parna Ajinani Va Kesha Roma Nakashashmru Malane Bibhruyat Data न धावेत अपसु मज्जेत त्रिकालम थंडिले शयः ग्रीष्मे तपेत पंचाग्नेन वर्षासु असार शाट जले आकंठ मग्न शिशिरे एवं वृत्त तपश्चरेत अग्निपक्वम समश्नीयात कालपक्वम अथ पीवा उलुकल अश्म कुक्कुट वादंत उलुकल एवं स्वयं संचिनुयात सर्वं आत्मना वृत्ति कारणम देश काल बल अभिज्ञ न अददित अन्यदा आवृतम वन्ने ही चरु पुरोडाशहि निर्वपेत काल चोदितान न तो श्रौतेन पशुना माम यजेत वन आश्रमी अग्निहोत्रम च दर्श च पौर्णमास च पूर्ववत चातुर्मास्यानि च मन है मुने आम्नतानि च नैगमे एवं चिर्णेन तपसा मुनि ही दवणि संतत माम तपमय आराध्य ऋषि लोकातोपैति माम यह तु एतत् कृच्छ्रच्चीर्णः तपनिश्रय सम्मत कामाय अल्प्यसे युज्यत् बालिश कपर तत यदा असोनियमे अकल्पे जरया जात वैपतु आत्मनि अग्निं समारोप्य मच्चित्त अग्निं समाविशेत् यदा कर्म विपाकेषु लोकेषु निरया आत्मसु विराग जायते सम्यक नेस्त अग्नि प्रव्रजेत ततः. Translation and purport by the Srila Prabhupada, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, one who desires to adopt the third order of life, Vanaprastha, should enter the forest with a peaceful mind, leaving his wife with his mature son, or else taking her along with him. Having adopted the Vanaprastha order of life, one should arrange one's sustenance by eating uncontaminated bulbs, roots, and fruits that grow in the forest. One may dress oneself with tree bark, grass, leaves, or animal skin. The Vanaprastha should not groom the hair on his head, body or face, should not manicure his nails, should not pass stool and urine at irregular times, and should not make a special endeavor for dental hygiene. He should be content to make bath in water 3 times daily and should sleep on the ground. Thus, engaged as a Vanaprastha, one should execute penance during the hottest summer days by subjecting oneself to burning fires on 4 sides and the blazing sun overhead. During the rainy season, one should remain outside, subjecting oneself to torrents of rain. And in the freezing winter, one should remain submerged in water up to one's neck. One may eat foodstuffs prepared with fire, such as grains or fruits ripened by time. One may grind one's food with mortar and stone or with one's own teeth. The Vanaprastha should personally collect whatever he requires for his bodily maintenance, carefully considering the time, place, and his own capacity. He should never collect provisions for the future. One who has accepted the Vanaprastha order of life should perform seasonal sacrifices by offering oblations of charu, and sacrificial cakes prepared from rice and other grains found in the forest. The Vanaprastha, however, may never offer animal sacrifices to me, even those sacrifices mentioned in the Vedas. The Vanaprastha should perform the Agnihotra, Darsha, and Paurnamas sacrifices as he did while in the Grihastha ashrama. Should also perform the vows and sacrifices of Chaturmasya, since all of these rituals are enjoined for the Vanaprastha ashram by expert knowers of the Vedas. The saintly Vanaprastha practicing severe penances and accepting only the bare necessities of life become so emaciated that he appears to be mere skin and bone. Thus, worshipping me through severe penances, he goes to the Murloc planet and then directly achieves. One who, with a long endeavor, execute these painful but exalted penances, which awards ultimate liberation, simply to achieve insignificant sense gratification, must be considered the greatest fool. If the Vanaprastha is overtaken by old age and because of his trembling body is no longer able to execute his prescribed duties, he should place the sacrificial fire within his heart by meditation. Then, fixing his mind on me, he should enter into the fire and give up his body. If the Vanaprastha, understanding that even promotion to Brahmaloka is a miserable situation, develops complete detachment from all possible results of pretty activities, then he may take the sannyasa order of life. Purport by the Srila Prabhupada, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. In Kali Yuga, a human being generally cannot live more than 100 years, and even the is becoming most unusual. A man who has a reasonable expectation of living for 100 years may adopt the Vanaprastha order at the age of 50, and then at the age of 75, he may take sannyasa for complete renunciation. Since in Kali Yuga, very few people live for 100 years, one should adjust the schedule accordingly. Vanaprastha is intended as a gradual transition from materialistic family life to the stage of complete renunciation. A renounced sage in the forest does not kill an animal, but rather acquire skin from animals who have suffered natural death. According to a passage from Manusahita, quoted by Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, the word made they or pure indicates that while residing in the forest, a sage may not accept honey-based liquors, animal flesh, fungus, mushrooms, horse radish, or any hallucinogenic or intoxicating herbs, even those taken as so-called medicine. One who engages in sense gratification must perform severe penances at the end of life to counteract his sinful hedonistic activities. A devotee of the Lord, however, naturally develops Krishna consciousness and need not subject himself to such radical penances as stated in the Pancharatra. Aradita yadi hari tapasa tatah kim na aradita yadi hari tapasa tatah kim anta bhai yadi hari tapasa tatah kim na anta bhai yadi hari tapasa tatah kim. If one is worshipping the Lord properly, what is the use of severe penances? And if one is not properly worshipping the Lord, what is the use of severe penances? If Sri Krishna is realized within and without everything that exists, what is the use of severe penances? And if Sri Krishna is not seen within and without everything, then what is the use of severe penances? In Vedic civilization, it is recommended that at the end of one's life, one should go to a holy place or forest for spiritual perfection. In sacred forest, one does not find restaurant, supermarket, fast food chains, and so on. And thus, one must eat simply, reducing sense gratification. Although in the Western countries, people eat processed food, one living simply must himself separate and pulverize grains and other foods before eating. This is referred to here. According to Vedic regulations, one practicing austerity should collect only what he requires for immediate use, and upon receiving gifts of foodstuff, he should immediately give up that which he has previously collected, so that there will be no surplus. This regulation is meant to keep one fixed and faithful dependence on the Supreme Lord. One should never stock food or other bodily necessities for future use. The term Desha Kala Bala Abhigya indicates that in a particularly difficult place or in time of emergency or personal capacity, this strict rule need not be followed as confirmed by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur points out that unless one is completely incapacitated, one should not depend on others for one's personal maintenance, as this will create a debt that can only be repaid by taking another birth in the material world. This applies only to those endeavoring for personal purification and not to those engaged for full time in devotional service to Lord Krishna. A pure devotee its dresses and speaks only for the service of the Lord, and thus whatever assist he accepts from other is not for himself. He is fully surrendered to the mission of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. However, one not so surrendered will certainly have to take birth again in the material world to repay all of his debt to others. One who has taken the Vanaprastha order of life should never perform animal sacrifice or eat meat. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur has given a detailed explanation of the four rituals mentioned here, namely Agnihotra, Darsha, Purnamas, and Chaturmasya. The conclusion is that everyone should simply chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, and avoid the difficult entanglement of Vedic ritualistic ceremonies. If one neither chants here Hare Krishna nor performs such ritual, one certainly becomes a Pashandi and atheistic fool. A Vanaprastha who develops pure devotional service achieves the Supreme Lord, Krishna, while in the Vanaprastha stage of life, one who does not become completely Krishna conscious, however, first goes to the planet Maharlok or Rishi Lok, and from there directly achieves Lord Krishna. One achieves Maharlok or Rishi Lok through strict observance of positive and negative regulation. However, without developing a taste for chanting and hearing the glories of the Lord, Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu, it is not possible to achieve the perfect liberation of going back home, back to Godhead. Therefore, on the Maharlok planet, the unsuccessful sage gives more attention to chanting and hearing, and thus he usually develops pure love of Godhead. Although the process of Vanaprastha described by Lord Krishna is so glorious that even the consolation prize is promotion to Maharloka, one who consciously performs this process for such promotion to heaven is certainly the greatest fool. The Lord does not want this process to be abused or exploited by materialistic rascal, for the ultimate goal is love of Godhead. Since the process of Vanaprastha is recommended for those nearing the end of life, there is always the likelihood that one will prematurely succumb to the symptoms of old age and be unable to reach the final stage of sannyasa. If one simply cannot carry on his religious duties due to old age, It is here advised that he fix the mind in Lord Krishna and enter into the sacrificial fire. Although this may not be possible in the modern age, we can appreciate the absolute seriousness of going back home, back to Godhead as evidence in this verse. Thus end the purport. Now pray. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmilitam Ena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namah Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Ena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Sopadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuttapadakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavancha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Sri Vishakhanvitancha Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamini Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyato Deshatarine Vancha Kalpatarubecha Krupa Sindhube Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktorinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam. Today we start new chapter of Srimad Bhagwatam, Canto 11, chapter 18, description of Manaprastha Dharma. Here they describing about 4 rituals mentioned, namely Agnihotra, Darsha, Purnamas, and Chaturmasya. How these 4 rituals doing or not, but they giving the importance to the Harinam Sankirtan. And they told, who neither chants Hare Krishna nor performs such rituals, one certainly become a passionate and atheistic fool. And again, they doing told the process to be abused or exploited by materialistic rascal for the ultimate goal is love of God. Means what is the ultimate goal that describing in this shloka? Vancha kalpatarubecha krupa sindhube evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavyo namo nam. Hare Krishna, Dandat Pranam. Prabhuji will tell you in detail. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Mataji, for a wonderful summarization and giving a lot of opportunity to me to discuss about this important topic. So we are seeing that, see, if you see the whole scenario, first Krishna, in this Uddhav Gita part or the 11th canto, you will see that he has initially explained about his opulences. And then after explaining the opulences, it just becomes but natural for us to understand how do we achieve it. And that is where, in the previous chapter, Krishna has described the Varnashrama system. And then, after having described the Varnashrama system, now Krishna is describing the Varnashrama Dharma. So indirectly, what Krishna wants to promote is that we should be following this very strictly if we ever wish to go back home, back to Godhead. So, in the previous chapter, we have clearly seen the Vanaprastha and Sannyasa orders. And now in this chapter, we are going to be seeing in detail more further things. Like one who is taking Vanaprastha stage of life should leave his wife at home in the care of his sons, or else take her along. And with a peaceful mind, spend the 3rd quarter of his life in the forest. He should accept as food whatever bulbs, fruits, roots, whatever grows in the forest. Taking sometimes grains cooked by fire and sometimes fruits ripened by time. And as far as garments are concerned, it should be bare minimum, made of tree bark, grass, leaves, or the skin of maybe deer. What is most important is he should perform austerities. He should not make any special attempt to remove any dirt or anything. But then he should bathe 3 times daily in cold water and sleep on the ground, not in a curl-on bed. Even during the hot season, he should stand beneath the fearsome heat of the sun, and during the rainy season, he should stand in the midst of the downpour of rain. And during the cold winter, he should submerge himself in water up to the neck. That is the way the life has to be lived as a vanaprastha. And if we can maintain these severe practices, the vanaprastha can achieve the tapolok planet. But then this is something which is not possible in the current age, Kali Yuga, because we don't have that much capacity. So what is recommended, as you have seen in the purport, is the Harer Nam eva kevalam, kalau nasteva gatir anyatha. So in Kali Yuga, we are supposed to be following the Bhakti Yoga path, wherein we keep on chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. And through the congregational chanting, we are supposed to grow. Please understand, this dharma is prescribed for the civilized human beings so that we are trained to successfully terminate the human life. Self-realization is something which is going to distinguish us from the lower animals, which are also engaged in eating, sleeping, feeding, and mating. And therefore, we need to follow the system. So as Bhishma had told us in the first canto, 9th chapter itself, that you have to develop those 9 qualifications, which comes from this Varnashrama system. If you remember the 9 qualifications, 1, not to become angry, 2, not to lie, 3, to equally distribute wealth, 4, to forgive, 5, to beget children only by one's legitimate wife, 6, to be pure in mind and hygienic in body, 7, not to be inimical towards anyone, 8, to be simple, and 9, to support servants or subordinates. So this is what we have to develop, and that is something which is being developed through the Varnashrama Dharma, which is the beginning of actual human life. And it starts right from your childhood, wherein at the age of 5 years, the students are sent, small boys are sent to become brahmachari at the Guru's ashrama, and all the training was done. In fact, the training is compulsory, not only to create good citizens, but also to prepare future life for spiritual realization. It's the irresponsible life of sense enjoyment which creates problems, as we are currently seeing, wherein we are not able to achieve anything. Hare Krishna. So we'll discuss again this further tomorrow onwards. Now I'm sharing the attendance link.